March 30th of 2010, I was serving in Afghanistan with the 82nd Airborne in the infantry, and we were on a mission to secure a town where we knew there was an IED cell operating, and on that particular day, the enemy decided to come out and have an argument with us, and in the course of that, I stepped on an IED and was caught up in a follow-up ambush after the fact. They utilized this space right here where there's a lot of bone contact for a lot of my pressure, and then a little bit over here, which just like on this one, it angles in, and then on the back, a little bit of a flattening spot. So it was kind of a triangular support system. I put the Green Lantern symbol on because the Green Lantern's power comes from his will. And you know, I'm willing myself to come in here and work out. This socket is made much beefier than a standard socket. I believe it's got a few extra layers of basalt, and the foot that was ordered for it is also, I believe, designed for someone who's much heavier than myself. A couple of years ago, when I was working out at the Boise State Rec, I actually pretty much broke in half a traditional carbon fiber foot. I was wearing the Coyote Composite for my socket, and it didn't have any problems, but the foot underneath it that was carbon fiber just fractured and broke apart. Since then, I got the rush foot, and between the rush foot and the Coyote Composite, I'm working out harder now than I ever did back then, and I can't put a dent in either of them. Pretty much as hard as I go, despite having, you know, caused a few gashes on the outside with, you know, banging metal bars on them and whatnot. The integrity of the socket and the foot is pretty much unbreakable. Coyote Composite is definitely tough enough to keep up with me and everything that I do. I actually take pride in the fact that I have broken a lot of prosthetics in the past, a lot of feet, a few sockets I've had cracked straight down the center. I like the fact that I'm pushing their limits, even though they're supposed to be, you know, hardcore and all that. And as of yet, I haven't been able to do that with the Coyote Composite. In June, I went to Columbus, Ohio to what was called the World's Strongest Adaptive Athlete. It's a traditional strongman competition with things like stone lifting, logs, pulling cars, picking up cars. At the end of the day, I did win that competition, and that netted me a financial sponsorship for travel to go to London, where they're hosting the world's strongest disabled athlete. And I'll be doing a lot of the same competitive movements, the log, the stones, pulling a car. I've done powerlifting my whole life. The first competition I won, I believe I was 13 years old. And in powerlifting, specifically in the squat, the top of your knee and the crease of your hip as you squat down have to match, which means that on the back side of your leg, your knee joint is more than just a 90 degree because you have a hamstring that's coming down from it. So the knee flexibility is very important. And with the carbon fiber socket, it was just too rigid, and they could cut down the back of it, but if they did that, I lost stability to a great degree. And even then, it was so rigid that my knee didn't flex enough to let my knee bend and change shape within the socket. With the composite that Coyote has made in conjunction with the softer plastic liner on the inside, they can cut the back down and let my knee flex and move within the socket, and it will adapt. But I don't lose the stability because that clear plastic liner on the inside is flexible but still provides some structure and gives me a really good seal with the design that I have. And I can come in here on any given day of the week and put 350 to 385 pounds on my back and actually squat down to the point where my hip is below my knee, and I'm still almost flat-footed on the ground and maintain my balance without losing the integrity of my socket and my seal in the socket. So it's definitely in my opinion, a step up from the classic carbon fiber sockets. that I started with.